podcast, wide open woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open woke. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.
Hey, this is Wide Open World Podcast with Audi Roberts, your host. Information coming to you so strong, coming to you so fast, coming to you so real, and make you want to say, wow. But you know what? We got to finish off, we got the Aeon of Horus Part 3. We're going to go right into that. Without further ado, we're going to bring this up on stage. Let's do this now. We got to get this thing going. Here we go. 4. Mind you, hold on. Mind you, during the first episodes, y'all see how the connection, how NASA connected itself with the hold on just 1 second, please. I gotta put you on pause. The interruption. Yeah, that was my baby. Anyway, so let's get into this. So yeah, NASA and the occult, dark magic, was always connected. Before NASA even, there was a group already connected that it was together before it even became NASA. Now, mind you, now people, you may not, it's hard to believe. All right. Magic is real. Okay. No matter, see, we were taught to look at magic as make-believe. The way we were taught to believe, the way we were taught to see magic, the way we were taught to see things, we think magic is make-believe. Like that stuff like for fairy tales or stuff like with Disney and all that kind of stuff. No. Magic is real. Magic is very real. And it's used a whole lot more than what you think is used for. And see, the thing is, it's real, and it's energy. It's like energy. It's all whose the intention is behind it. You know, if you got good or evil behind it, that's what makes it either good or bad. Is who's the intention behind it. But anyway, it is real. So now that this is magic is real, and that dark occult, okay, they were looking for the dark evil side. So now their intention, of course, was evil. So now you will see the other connections that is going on with NASA and the corporate America and other things that you'll see. But let's, without further ado, let's keep moving here.
After more than 50 years, the UFO enigma has been thoroughly established in the popular media as being evidence of visitation by intelligent off-planet life forms. That these are physical beings that inhabit far distant alien planets from within our own galaxy or possibly even beyond. Acceptance of this theory gives one at least a general sense of comforting remoteness to such alien life forms, that yes, their visitations may be random and unpredictable, but less threatening since they live so far away. However, given the extremely narrow limitations of our human five-sense perceptions, to assume such mysterious entities have the same physical limitations as we do might be very hazardous. Modern quantum physics is just beginning to confirm what was common knowledge to ancient alchemists, that we exist in an ocean of energy that they called ether, and that this ether permeating our world also reaches out even unto the stars. As well, the ancient alchemists fully understood that this etheric realm was vastly inhabited, and at least some of these entities, assumed by modern materialistic society to be remote extraterrestrials, are really non-physical spirit entities no more distant than our own living rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, over the centuries, this knowledge of the etheric has been systematically removed from the general population and preserved in occult teachings for only the worthy high initiates of powerful secret societies. Actually, ancient shamanic adepts were skilled in communicating with the denizens of unseen worlds centuries before radio telescopes were even thought of.
Wow.
In fact, the rise of the so-called Age of Enlightenment and the advent of scientific thought may have been a clever alchemical deceit designed to inspire obsessive materialism, thus distracting the mass public mind away from higher esoteric spiritual knowledge, knowledge jealously guarded for only the loftiest occult initiates. Truth is not for those who are unworthy or unable to receive it, or would pervert it. The truth must be kept secret, and the masses need a teaching proportioned to their imperfect reason. As such, perhaps the popular notion of alien abductions, heavily promoted by UFO research groups like MUFON, as well as the mass media, is also a deception proportioned for the imperfect reason of the unsuspecting public. Rational reductionist science for the last century has generally convinced modern culture that our 5-sense 3D reality is all that exists, that life after death, telepathy, astrology, angels and demons are all so much medieval nonsense. Therefore, claims of alien abduction can only be evidence of some psychological aberration within the minds of the victims themselves. However, the amount of evidence amassed after years of abduction research clearly demonstrates that someone or something from outside our accepted physical reality is able to access and manipulate our physical reality in ways curiously similar to age-old accounts of demonological encounters. Were demons actually aliens, or are aliens actually demons?
That was the connection. Humans are actually
Demons are
demons.
manifestly evil entities commonly understood to exist in a structured etheric hierarchy parallel to human physical reality. As such, they are said to be the subliminal architects of all human aggression, suffering, and misery. Demonic entities are known for their predatory cunning and deceptive machinations in human affairs. However, demons themselves may be the result of human creation. Fundamentally, humans are thought-creating beings living in a thought universe. We create everything in our world out of thought. The more human beings focus their awareness on something specific, the more certain it will actually manifest. Over time, however, thought-creating human awareness has become so profoundly identified with the illusory world of material creation that it has lost sentient connection with its original parent oneness. Yet its ability to manifest focused thought is no less potent. Ancient Egyptian and Babylonian magicians understood the power of collective thought and how it could be used to manifest thought-form entities. Given enough energy, such entities could become real, acting autonomously, as if possessed with a life of their own.
Like Jesus
Since antiquity, these egregore, or thought-form entities, have grown ever stronger and all-knowing. Occult sorcerers, through ceremonial magic, sought to control these entities in order to gain rare knowledge and supernatural powers. The black magic practitioners, seeking to gratify their own ambitions, realized these entities could be programmed like computer software to be used for good or evil. In other words, the awesome power of collective human emotions can be harnessed to precipitate manifestations of benevolent angels, wicked demons, or even aliens from space. As well, the ancient traditions of accessing assistance from such powerful etheric entities are preserved and practiced by modern secret societies to this day. Satanists, the Dark Illuminati, The black magic masters are able to conjure these denizens from hyperdimensional space to do their bidding.
Their time is up now.
The modern fascination with UFOs began in June of 1947, when private pilot Kenneth Arnold claimed seeing 9 unknown, shiny objects flying near Mount Rainier, Washington. The press sensationalized his report by labeling the objects as flying saucers. And to this day, mysterious flying objects are consistently reported worldwide. And although these objects have become generally accepted as visitors from outer space, only a handful of researchers have dared to offer a deeper, darker explanation for this phenomenon. While the main thrust of UFO research has been preoccupied with crashed saucers, alien bodies, back-engineered anti-gravity technologies, and secret Nazi flying discs, a significant mystical aspect to ufology has been virtually ignored. But 1947 was also significant as the year of notorious British Satanist Aleister Crowley's death. Little mention is made in UFO research to a ritual magic ceremony performed in New York in 1918, whereby Crowley allegedly opened a dimensional portal to alien entities. Styled as the Alamantra workings, Crowley's ritual accessed an etheric entity called Lamb, whose image bore a striking resemblance to alien entities that 70 years later would become popularly known as the Greys. Moreover, in the years just prior to his death, Aleister Crowley served as mentor to noted American rocket scientist Jack Parsons in Pasadena, California. Parsons founded the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which, in association with NASA, was instrumental in the manned Apollo rocket launches during the 1960s. But aside from rocket design, Parsons was also Grand Master of Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis, Satanic Lodge in Pasadena. As well, Parsons and Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard in 1945 also conducted ritual sex magic workings deliberately intended to invoke the Antichrist.
Wow. So these guys did stuff dark magic.
In June 1952, Jack Parsons died in a mysterious explosion at his Pasadena home. And just 1 month later, Washington, D.C. was besieged with a flight of UFOs. An innocuous coincidence? Perhaps. But there is nothing innocuous in the disturbing similarity between alien abductions and occult satanic initiation rituals.
They're all connected.
This series of special projects conducted in the California desert in 1945 and 1946 by Parsons and Hubbard was for the express purpose of opening an interdimensional gateway that had been sealed since antiquity. This would allow other dimensional entities called the Old Ones access to our time-space continuum, resulting in extra-dimensional contact. It was the use of black magic and the marriage of unknown forces to allegedly bring alien drones into the world, organic robots who, in the image of nature, would follow the adept's every command. Noted French researcher and author of Messengers of Deception, Dr. Jacques Vallée stated, "The symbolic display seen by the abductees is identical to the type of initiation ritual or astral voyage that is embedded in the occult traditions of every culture. The structure of abduction stories is identical to that of occult initiation rituals. The UFO beings of today belong to the same class of manifestation as the occult entities that were described in centuries past. The UFOs are physical manifestations that cannot be understood apart from their psychic and symbolic reality. What we see in effect here is a control system which acts on humans and uses humans.
Yes.
Our contemporary materialistic
Okay.
culture
Let's write
now
that down
possesses
right
a dangerously
Oh, uses humans. That's something. The whole control system, they just broke it down right there. And how it's made to use humans. So right now we're here for this shift. Are you being used, or are you chosen and you're awake so you're not being used? Yes, you have to wake up. Because, see, a lot of you are being used and you don't even know that you're being used. Let's continue.
Inadequate understanding of the occult, or the complex realities of non-physical intelligences. William C. Chittick, author of The Sufi Path of Knowledge, warns of the naive dangers of New Age idealism. Nowadays, most people interested in the spirituality of the East desire the experience, though they may call what they are after intimate communion with God. Those familiar with the standard norms of spiritual experience set down by disciplined paths like Sufism are usually appalled by the way Westerners seize upon any apparition from the domain outside of normal consciousness as a manifestation of the spiritual. In fact, there are innumerable realms in the unseen world, some of them far more dangerous than the worst jungles of the visible world.
That's deep. That's real deep.
This general ignorance of non-physical realities easily serves dark magic practitioners who manipulate and deceive to serve their own purposes, or practitioners who themselves are manipulated by etheric entities that wish to access our physical reality. And UFOs themselves are a seductive display of incomprehensible magic. A general consensus seems to agree that UFOs are craft that possess the ability to appear as physical objects that simultaneously manipulate time and space so as to become invisible or perform maneuvers that defy our current understanding of physics and nature.
So true.
But the darker side of this phenomena is the abduction scenario, reported by millions of people all over the world, regardless of time, race, culture, and upbringing. The late Dr. John Mack, Harvard Medical School professor, psychiatrist, and author, also investigated the abduction phenomenon for several decades and came to conclusions similar to Dr. Jacques Vallée. His contributions to the study of ufology and alien abductions is greatly respected. In an interview with Nova Online, when asked if the phenomena was literally physical or psychological, Dr. Mack stated that, yes, it's both literally physically happening to a degree, and it's also some kind of psychological, spiritual experience occurring and originating, perhaps, in another dimension. And so the phenomenon stretches us, or it asks us to stretch to open to realities that are not simply the literal physical world, but to extend to the possibility that there are other unseen realities from which our consciousness, our, if you will, learning processes over the past several hundred years have closed us off.
Right. Wow.
Author Whitley Strieber, in his classic account of an alien encounter from his book Communion, records his experience with these entities by stating, "I became entirely given over to extreme dread. The fear was so powerful that it seemed to make my personality completely evaporate. Whitley ceased to exist. What was left was a body and a state of raw fear so great that it swept about me like a thick, suffocating curtain, turning paralysis into a condition that seemed close to death. I died and a wild animal appeared in my place." Then, in his subsequent book, Transformation, the Breakthrough, he delves deeper into the abduction experience, stating, "Increasingly I felt as if I were entering a struggle that might even be more than life and death. It might be a struggle for my soul, my essence, or whatever part of me might have reference to the eternal. There are worse things than death, I suspected. So far, the word demon had never been spoken among the scientists and doctors who were working with me. Alone at night, I worried about the legendary cunning of demons. At the very least, I was going stark raving mad. And within the pages of Transformation, he further observed, I felt an absolutely indescribable sense of menace. It was hell on earth to be there in the presence of these entities, and yet I couldn't move, couldn't cry out, couldn't get away. I'd lay as still as death, suffering inner agonies. Whatever was there seemed so monstrously ugly, so filthy and dark and sinister. Of course they were demons. They had to be. And they were here, and I couldn't get away.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So they would be demons to them.
According to many researchers in the field, and even the people who have directly experienced this phenomenon, all seem to agree that there is a spiritual element guiding this phenomenon. It is clear that there is a metaphysical nature to the UFOs and the alien abductions themselves. Furthermore, the startling similarities between this phenomena and the occult and other historical, mythological accounts of direct contact with demonic entities should be alarming.
DMT, the spirit molecule?
Dr. Rick Strassman, author of DMT, the Spirit Molecule, hypothesizes that alien abductions are brought on by the accidental release of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, produced by the pineal gland inside the brain.
That's bull crap.
While conducting DMT research in the 1990s at the University of New Mexico, Dr. Strassman advanced the theory that a massive release of DMT from the pineal gland prior to death or near death was the cause of the near-death experience, NDE phenomenon. Several of his test subjects reported NDE-like audio or visual hallucinations, while others also reported contact with other beings, alien-like, insectoid, or reptilian in nature, in highly advanced technological environments where the subjects were carried, probed, tested, manipulated, dismembered, taught, loved, and even raped by these beings.
Wow.
It's interesting to note how similar the accounts of his test subjects who were administered DMT intravenously are in comparison to what can be found in abduction research. DMT is certainly a mystery molecule that seems to open doorways into another world or reality. However, Strassman's theory that abduction experiences are brought on by the accidental release of DMT seems to be short-sighted when taking a closer look into the alien abduction scenario. Does DMT simply generate vivid hallucinations, or is it actually a chemical gateway for consciousness to access hyperdimensional realities?
The latter.
DMT research raises the question of the nature of consciousness as well as the nature of physical reality itself. Does our accepted three-dimensional reality actually interface with multiple hyperdimensional realities that our physical senses simply cannot perceive? Such a physiological limitation places the average human at a distinct disadvantage to unseen predatory dangers. But are there techniques one can employ for protection from menacing hyperdimensional alien denizens? In point of fact, certain abductees have successfully terminated their abduction experience by calling out to Jesus for assistance. This is important considering that certain higher spiritual forces also exist. As well, there is power in specific sounds. The name Jesus was created by the Greeks to have high vibrational energy.
But
the vibrational tone of E in all languages means to separate, and Sus, or Zeus, means to bring together. As well, abductees have reported that anger or getting upset at the entities does actually help. Also, by educating themselves and learning more about the abduction and UFO phenomenon, they can create an awareness which seems to offer protection. As the saying goes, knowledge protects, ignorance endangers. One of the primary themes of alien abduction accounts has been the harvesting of human genetic material. Aliens have been consistently reported abducting American citizens on a regular basis, conducting experiments on them, collecting specimens of ova and sperm. They have been impregnating women and then later invading those women's bodies again and stealing the unborn fetuses. A respected researcher and abductee herself has been Dr. Carla Turner. She authored 3 books on the abduction phenomenon: Into the Fringe, Taken, and Masquerade of Angels. Dr. Carla Turner died of a strange, fast-acting cancer in 1996 after being threatened for her work. She was only 48 years old. According to her research, Dr. Turner believed that humans were being used as a resource by these aliens in many ways. However, the gray aliens seemed to be merely biogenetic robots performing programmed tasks and were not of themselves a race of their own. In fact, Dr. Carla Turner's courageous investigations into the alien abduction phenomena may have also uncovered a monstrous truth: that the so-called gray aliens are not really alien at all, but hideously altered human automatons, and that a top-secret terrestrial project is harvesting human fetal material to manufacture organic robot clones.
That's wild.
She stated, "Some abductees report being told or shown the small gray workers are mass-produced android robots, not soul-bearing individuals, and thus not alive as we understand the term. The Greys show a strong fetal physiology, as numerous descriptions have stated, and given enough mastery of genetics, human reproductive material could be altered so that its appearance resembled the Grey type, yet be strictly human in composition rather than a mixture of alien and human. The Greys, in effect, could be grossly altered bodies of human babies devoid of what we call soul and mentally programmed like dedicated computer hardware."
Wow. Alien.
Even Colonel Philip Corso, author of the book The Day After Roswell, admitted that the recovered bodies from the Roswell UFO crash were biological robots. He stated, "It looked like these were clones, so the name came out extraterrestrial biological entity, because that's what we figured they were. We never used the letters ET, there was no such thing. They were clones. They didn't look like clones, they were clones. We figured they were created by some other intellect."
They knew. A disclosure project, which is still going on right now.
Dr. Stephen Greer has gained high-profile notoriety by organizing the Disclosure Initiative to raise public awareness of the UFO issue. Yet while Greer publicly lobbies to convince us that all extraterrestrial aliens are benevolent, enlightened beings here to spiritually advance corrupt humanity, he publicly admitted knowledge of top-secret government projects whereby demonic astral entities can be materialized into our 3D reality using sophisticated electromagnetic technologies. In a Project Camelot interview with Dr. Greer in July of 2009, he stated, "I have had more than a dozen people who have worked in facilities in Dulce, New Mexico, and in Pine Gap, Australia, and other places where they have actually been growing the gray and reptilian species that people think are ETs, and that the people who have been in the projects think they're working alongside an alien, and they're not. They're absolutely what are called nanobiomachines. They are programmed life forms, and there is no question that such is going on."
Wow.
Greer further revealed, "We have some at Lockheed and another program, I can't say where it is, and they have developed electromagnetic systems where they can put someone in a state and they can go into a lower astral or denser astral field. Some would call this demonic. And they can actually see beings and creatures there and bring them in three-dimensional and materialize them into flesh and blood through these electronics."
See, this is deep. See? Bored through electronics, man. We're going to pause this right here, okay? Now, this is stuff that you're thinking like, man, This stuff is real. Of course, it's new to us. It's new to us because it's been hidden, and this is what the powers that were doing that type of thing. But yeah, it's always been real. So now that we've been made aware of it, we can turn around and use it to our advantage. That's another story and another podcast. But this is the 30-minute cutoff before we're going to cut this one off right here. And then we'll continue this with part 4. But yes, this is deep. That runs deep. NASA always been connected with the magic on this earth. NASA, Disney, all that's connected. And then all of a sudden NASA connected like that with the occult. I could see how the occult hid itself within NASA. Because now NASA is claiming all access and all ancient sites that they're locking down right now as we speak. So, yeah, this is deep. But anyway, we're going to get back with the part 4. We're going to carry this on because we got to get the message out there. But for everybody, this is Audi Rob. Just peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light to everyone out there. And y'all keep holding on through this shift. Experience the shift. Experience the new dimension that's coming in. Earth is in the 5th dimension as we speak. And it's evolving as we speak. So, enjoy. Love.
Blast wide open woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets.